Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero Chapter 60. When we last left our heroes, we saw the aftermath of Homura learning the truth about Valkyrie and how she died fighting the stones 3 years ago. We saw that she wanted to give up just everything, and Shiki tried to encourage her to snap out of that. We didn't spend enough time with her to see if it worked. But then Shiki jumped right into fighting the Crimson Woman, Madame Kurenai, whatever name we're going with. I think we're on the Japanese box translation today, so it's, Japanese box translation, so I think that we're going with Crimson Woman today. But anyway, it feels like it's a little fast. I also feel like there's another misdirect coming with the Crimson Woman's claim that she doesn't care about Homura. I'm predicting an Irene style about face on that, except with more build-up than Irene's had. But yeah, let's just jump right on into Chapter 60 until it becomes strength. We have a picture of Rebecca in a cat onesie. Don't I look alike? A girl's soul in a cat outfit. So we open right where we left off, with Shiki having invaded the Crimson Woman's tower, carrying Homura's tears. Shiki unleashes his anger with gravity. And you'll recall from last week, it's completely in ruins after Shiki used his ether gear on it. The floor, he uses gravity as his ether gear. Isn't that the same magic that Drakken uses? Hold on. When Lion Guy says that, is that ether gear in general, or is Drakken also a gravity user? It's a little vague in this translation. Maybe the official translation makes it clearer, but let's just file that in the back of our minds for now. The Crimson Woman's assistant kind of like turns to her. What shall we do with the shot from the Crimson Eye? We'll go as planned. Hurry it along. And Shiki just stares at her. Come forth, Punisher. And we see these like angel... Oh, these are the same angel guys from the casino, right? It's been a while since the casino happened. I'm a little hazy on that. But they all like descend from the ceiling around Shiki and get ready to fight him. And Shiki just kind of like stares at them, unimpressed. Bring down the punishment of heaven on this trespasser. Soak in crimson! And they all kind of rush at Shiki. Die Machina! And he slams his hand on the ground. Gravity wave! And this, like, wave of gravity, I guess, in the name. Kind of like, this energy wave spreads out from Shiki, pushing all of the Punishers back. And they're all kind of sent flying. We see, like, bits of them are falling off. What's this? And Nino is, like, freaking out. My body is getting sucked in! Which means that's a weird thing, though, because the gravity wave seems... Hold on. Never mind. Hold on. Let me look at this again. Because I look at the top of page 6, it looks like... My first thought was that they were being pushed back. But if they were pushed back, they would be, like, curved to where the inner... If their curved body was a circle, the inner part would be facing towards Shiki, right? Because they'd be like pushed back from the waist and kind of hunched over like so. But they're actually they're being pulled in because their waist is leaning forward. All right, that was more physics than I get to in most videos. Anyway, my body's getting sucked in. Oh, and Shiki like gets some gravity in his fist. Funny how like we all accept "get some gravity in his fist" is like a sentence that makes sense, but it really doesn't. But we all know what it means. And he, like, smacks the Punisher in the face, kicks some, just keeps on going ham on them. They stand no chance. And he just utterly demolishes the Punishers. They are completely sent flying. No hope of victory. Shiki just demolishes all the Punishers. They're, like, scattered around the room in, like, rubble. No way! He defeated all those Punishers? And at this point, even the Crimson Woman looks shocked. And then he lunges for the Crimson Woman. But I think that's Lion Guy. Dashes in front of him. Yeah, Lion Guy and Shiki, like, make eye contact. And the Lion Guy kicks at Shiki, and Shiki, like, goes hard into the ground. Then Garret gets his whip out and wraps Shiki's leg and does the shock attack on him. And then he is kneed again by Lion Boy. But Shiki jumps up from that, gets his hands on Lion Boy's head. And I'm trying to make out what happened. He jumps behind him and, like, pushes him away with the ether gear. Don't come over here, you idiot! What's going on? I'm falling! Oh, he's falling sideways. Alright. And he slams in... Lion Boy slams into Garret. Nino just kind of pauses at all this. And Shiki then lunges for the Crimson Woman. Crap, the Crimson Woman! But the Crimson Woman just kind of smiles at him. You are the one to make Homura cry! And the Crimson Woman activates what looks like her ether gear, or some kind of gem she has in her hand. I'm assuming it's an ether gear. Tears are for the weak. Those that win continuously smile. And she catches Shiki's punch in her hand. You took those smiles away from Homura. Nino watches the exchange. If shedding tears is a sign of weakness, then so be it. We continue on with the weakness, until it turns into strength. Then we cut back to the Labor District, this time at night. And the Resistance is, yelling at someone. Did you let that little boy go by himself to see the Crimson Woman? He passes out by just seeing bugs. Why didn't you tell us? And Rebecca just kind of, looks at them, utterly, barely even registering them. Nino, though... No, not Nino. Pino. Fucking rhyming names. The Master went to her place? All by himself? And then they were actually yelling at Paul, not at Rebecca. Paul responds, since I'm an ether user as well, I kind of get it. His level of ether is so much higher than mine. Even so, you shouldn't have let him go by himself. We've got to get prepared right away. Let's storm it! I love the Resistance at least recognizes how fast we've turned from backstory to final battle zones. Miss Rebecca... and Rebecca storms off, and Pino calls after her. We cut back to Homura and Valkyrie, which is where Rebecca went. Homura! And Homura doesn't even acknowledge her. Shiki Stormer, the Crimson Woman, is all by himself. We've got to go as well. And I think Homura's posture has changed. He looks a little bit more upright, in this panel here, and Rebecca looks at her silently. And Homura starts flashing back. I was so excited to see my teacher. I will meet my teacher, no matter what! There's something I had to convey to her. These are flashbacks from past moments. And we cut back to the present, where Rebecca stands over Homura's crouched self. Were you able to convey why you wanted to? And Homura's eyes open wide. And she stands up. I'm sure she heard it. See? Since you always just let it out. That's why your feelings will always reach. And Homura has this kind of dazed expression. And then we cut right back to the tower. The Crimson Eye has the guy working on the Crimson Eye has this no signal popping up on his screen. Crimson Woman, we're in trouble. What's wrong? The Crimson Eye has been hacked by someone. Oh, okay. And everyone looks shocked, super shocked. Shiki's a little confused, but there is fear in their eyes. Impossible. Who did it? Who knows? But the whole system is down. It's being controlled by a completely different person. And we see Drakken. That time that you came crying to me for money is so sentimental. You became a grandma with no quality. And Drakken's little alien dude. We've overtaken the satellite blade system. This is your interest for the lone grandma. Drakken. And she shakes for a minute and then gets this huge grin. Drakken, huh? Well. You want a war? Put out the Crimson Steel Knight. It'll erase the whole slum and Drakken Joe. Totally blinded. The instructions of Drakken Joe. What will Shiki do in this chaotic situation? To be continued in chapter 61, the arsenal appears. Alright, so, there are some big questions the last, 3 pages or so kind of, bring up. But I'm going to talk about the first part first. We talk about the question at the end. The fight scene is great. The Punishers are not a big enough deal that I really, I don't think anyone's going to be upset that the faceless Punisher robots got beat up real fast. Whatever. His encounter with the henchman, though, leaves some interesting things around. The fact that, he doesn't beat Lion Boy or Garret. He, he throws Lion Boy into Garret, which throws them both off enough that he can run into the Crimson Woman. Nino's doing his own thing. Nino's an interesting character. I'm really curious what exactly what's going to happen with Nino at the end of this arc, because his allegiance to the Crimson Woman is kind of not really there, as we've seen when he helps Rebecca get into the slums. So Nino's a character. I'm curious what's going to happen to him. You know, I don't know if I don't think he's going to join the crew, but maybe he will become a recurring character, kind of like what I imagine Elsie will be at some point, or Jean but less villainous, something in that range. Anyway, then we're back with the. I do really like this, that we continue on with the weakness until it turns into strength line. I think that's really cool. And then, of course, it is the chapter title, so Mashima at least agrees there. Then this labor district scene, I'm glad there's at least an acknowledgement of how fast this pace just, like, sped up right away. And it looks like it won't actually be as fast as maybe the last chapter made it be, given that made it seem, because the Resistance is coming, and then Drakken is now a player. And there's this Steel Knight guy, but also Homura's back. She's ready to fight. She's said what she needs to say to Valkyrie. And it's time for her to rejoin the action. I was expecting, again, a lot more time of Homura not really being able to do much, but I'm glad she's coming back into the action real fast. And then, of course, there's what exactly Drakken wants here. What is his goal in taking over the Crimson Eye? Is he trying to take out the Crimson Woman somehow? Maybe. That's certainly a possibility. I'm not sure if it's terribly likely. Especially given that, Drakken and Kurenai's relationship is kind of... We've seen, like, a panel or two of it. There's not a whole lot that we've seen there so far. Though I imagine we're going to get a lot more now that Drakken and the Crimson Woman are at war, according to Kurenai. And then there's this Crimson Steel Knight. She said it'll erase the whole slum and Drakken Joe. So does that mean that it has space? Can it, like, travel in space? I don't think Drakken is on Sunjul. I think he's still in his ship where he killed Spider, right? Especially because, like, we can see other planets in the window behind him on page 20. So there's a whole lot going on there. But I imagine that'll make more sense next chapter. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!